disrupted.
America that I fought.
Weird thing to happen. Hello, one and all, to this edition of Kitz, and we are now about a week in of post-election drama. We've seen the good, the bad, and the downright ugly segment here of just the blowback and just emotional wreckage of a lot of these people that I feel is doing more self-harm to the liberal consensus than it is trying to convince people or trying to make a message point across. And a lot of that has to do with the fabric of mainstream media, just minimizing people, furthering the divide, yelling at people, saying that they're a bunch of racists and narcissists because they wouldn't comply with the status quo. They wouldn't comply with a psyop like Kamala Harris had only the foundation of being a mixed race woman and no real substantial policy or measure that convinced enough people to vote for her. And that is one of the many famous policies of hers that just never came to be. It just, she never had anything. She never had anything. She never really ran on anything. She only ran on the face value of being a woman of color, and she implement the joy, the same joy that Barack Obama brought us in 2008. People got troped into, and they realized that hope and change, whatever it is, wasn't actually fundamental in fixing a lot of the mistakes that they have created. So this is causing a lot of stir, uproar, still continuing on. And I tried my best to avoid social media after an election like that. I tried my best. It's easier said than done. Doing a show like this, you can't really avoid social media. But it's hard. It's even harder not to avoid some of these videos that I just find has gone from, just the bad cry, the bad moment, you know, having the bit of sympathy to understand that this defeat may have emotionally scarred you, to the downright insane. And again, a lot of this is hurting themselves. It's hurting the worst of them. So take, for instance, this video from Hotspot that said Democrats are now calling to deport illegal immigrants and to report Hispanics voted for Trump to ICE. That seems a bit counterintuitive for the party that's supposed to help these immigrants. We want to care for these people. You get all the emotional blowback of, oh my God, Trump is going to mass deport all these immigrants. Now, all of a sudden, because a lot of those immigrants that came in legally and went through all the loopholes and challenges to gain some sort of momentum in America, unlike the illegal pouring of migrants that is a fundamental crisis in many towns and cities across America, which is the cause of all this. Now they want to implement those measures because those people voted against the party of their choosing. It's amazing. This is the tolerable left being intolerable. Listen to this.
Latinos for Trump, it is time to embrace the consequences of your actions. I've always been a firm believer of fighting fire with fire. If somebody goes low, I'll go lower. Now, with that being said, I know for a fact that most Latinos for Trump have undocumented family members, whether that be their parents, siblings, aunts, uncles, etc. So if you know of a Latino who voted for Trump, I urge you to call this number and report said family members. It's time that these Latinos for Trump get a taste of their own medicine and a taste of poetic justice. Now, I know what you may be thinking.
Wow. The direction, the complete 180 of these people. Wow. Hey, we need to be tolerable about newcomers into this country. They just want to seek better life, and maybe they came from, bad countries. Call ICE on them. They voted against my queen. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's just, it's so baffling that they have become the people that they're supposed to be against. They become the monster, the hideous monster that for years they were trying to fight for. They were trying to fight against. They were trying to fight for immigrants. Now all of a sudden that immigrants are pouring for people like Trump because they don't want this influx of illegals taking their jobs, stealing their money, causing inflation, causing crime, especially with people that went through all the hurdles, went through all the sacrifices to bring their family abroad. And they also believe that maybe, hey, we should vote for someone who's going to lessen the military-industrial complex that caused a lot of this influx. That, hey, maybe he's going to challenge the corporations that exploit these migrants that are causing people to pour in just to further lower wages, to get them involved in military recruitment because the recruitment numbers are low. Focus on that. Maybe focus on the security aspect of that. But no, because they voted against a person you have, pedestaled up for no reason. Oh my God, we got to call ICE. Call ICE. Deport them.
Angel, this is extreme, and I agree. But extreme problems call for extreme solutions. And unfortunately, many innocent people are going to be affected by this, but you can't be that innocent if you raised a Latino for Trump. And before all of the Latinos for Trump come at me all angry, this is what you wanted. This is what you voted for. You should be happy. Let me see that smile. But there you have it, guys. Once again, there is that number. You know what to do. It's time that these Latinos for Trump learn the hard way. But anyways, let me know what you guys think.
Wow. Oh my God. Well, to be fair, this guy says, when you fight with fire, you go even further in fire. I guess this guy was trying to prove the point that he was definitely flaming. He is absolutely a flamer for mass deportation. Again, just absolutely counterintuitive to everything they stood for. Everything they stood for. This just ruins their whole reputation. You wonder why you become a laughingstock on a lot of platforms. You wonder why. You wonder why people are instantly calling your BS out. Because this is obvious. This shows how just psychotic you are. That you spent your entire, we got to care about immigrants. What about dreamers? What about DACA? What about all the, oh my God, the people that just came into this country, you're going to mass deport them and Trump's going to do all this. Mass deport them anyway. They voted for Trump. You've done this to yourself. It's funny how Trump voters have to suffer consequences because of the ways they vote, but the people that vote Democrat don't have to suffer their consequences. Like, I don't see any Democrat voter out there right now saying, hey, we lost because we ran a campaign on nothing, got a bunch of celebrities, we wasted a bunch of money on empty platitudes, no real policy, no functionality. We're trying to turn the page of an administration who's currently on the page and completely shit the bed. You don't see anybody doing that. You don't see any Democrat suffering their consequences, but God forbid, the people that vote Trump, they're the ones that have to suffer. You have to mass deport them. That's what you get for raising critical people. That's what you get for raising a Latino Trump supporter. Ow. That's not all of it, folks. That's not all of it, folks. Because this lady, again, shows the level of extreme that I would consider calling Betty Ford for a lot of these people. Like, I feel saddened for the people that have just indulged themselves into this cult-like behavior. This one.
I say we pass a law that requires anyone who voted for that orange piece of shit to wear their Trump hat 24/7. Because conservatives are dangerous for anyone who isn't white, Christian, or male. Completely dangerous. Like dynamite waiting to go off in your hand. So I think we should all get a public service warning. Don't you? I say we pass.
Like dynamite in your hands. Oh my God. First of all, wow. I mean, did you read that off the script of Hitler's Youth Playbook? We gotta bar them. We gotta tag them with their Trump mega hats so we can differentiate between societies. Yeah, I think they did that once before. I think it was around the time when the Holocaust came around, right? You know, large people with the Star of David. We have to brand them because of their awful Jew behavior. That was what they did back then. And now here in 2024, the tolerant left saying that people that vote for Trump need to bar their image with a Trump hat. Because, God forbid, conservative men are like dynamite in their hands. You know, if you're going to do this kind of level of smearing, may I recommend hiring a writer? Get ChatGPT to write some jokes, for God's sakes. Get them to write a freaking analogy better than dynamite in your hand. What the hell? What does that even mean? What does that mean in this context? Conservative Christian males are such awful monsters, which is why we need to mass deport them. We need to bar them from society. We need to identify them. We need to we need to brand them like cattle by putting a hat on them 24/7. Because I can't live in a society of different opinions. I can't be civil towards each other because I'm a tolerant individual. My God. And it gets even worse. It's even worse, folks, because this lady, I think, takes the cake on deranged psychotic behavior.
I would go as far to say that I would purchase a Glock, and if you and I are walking on the same street and it's dark out and you're a white male, you have to be white for this to count, okay? If you're a white male, even if you don't approach me, I will shoot you. Yeah, I know. So, has to be on the street, you and I, has to be at nighttime. During the day, not so much, but at nighttime, okay? And you have to have very white skin, and be a male. I would go as far.
I am just so stunned. I am so stunned. But at least this woman can agree with the conservatives on the Second Amendment. At least they can both agree that they love guns. That this lady wants to be actually sexist, misogynistic, racist in the use of it, and also a bit prejudiced on time of day. Because why is it night? Why can't it be daytime? Are you against daylight? Are you against sunlight? Are you sunlight prejudiced now? God damn it. Just when I thought you just had to be just racist and misogynist and sexist and phobic towards Christianity, now all of a sudden you have to be prejudiced of sunlight. You're like a fascist vampire now. Wow. I mean, all I could do is laugh. All I could do is laugh at this crap because this is the most insane, psychotic episodes of these people. And there's a term in psychology. I'm not a psychologist. I don't know the exact terminology, but there is a term when people have deluded themselves in this personal trauma. They make themselves a victim and they elevate that trauma of themselves so harshly that they release the inner beast that should never come out to play unless last resort. their inner kind of inner fascists themselves. This is even like people like Carl Jung used to talk about this. Um, they release that beast inside of them to go after their supposed enemies because they think it's going to relieve their personal trauma that they have done to themselves. So this is what I mean, that they're actually hurting themselves. This is actually self-harm to such a regard for a political campaign that had nothing to do with them. They didn't care for these people, and yet you have people that are so brainwashed, so diluted in this cult behavior of the Democratic establishment that they feel victimized. They feel like personal trauma. They feel like they were personally attacked so harshly that now they are pointing the barrels at others. They're pointing the barrels at their friends, their family, their members of the community that they see every day, that they walk by, they shop together, they may the playground, whatever the case may be. They are now weaponizing themselves towards the general public. Instead of being compassionate, understanding, which I thought that was the whole point of being a typical liberal, that's the kind of person I hope to be. That's the kind of person I preach about. How we need to come together, how we need to be tolerant, how we need to respect each other's decision and votes, and maybe be compassionate, maybe be sympathetic, maybe being an ear for people to say, hey, why did you vote for this candidate? Why? What policies are you concerned about? Maybe actually get to understand those people instead of, I don't know, going out and getting a Glock to possibly shoot them. Like a psychotic, deranged mental patient. This is what the Democratic establishment, this is what actual brainwashing, MK Ultra shit does to people. This is dangerous. This is dangerous. And all I can do is laugh because of how insane that people have gone from being this intolerant person to being, the hippie kind of go-lucky liberal. This is now the liberal class. This is now the tolerance of the liberal establishment. It is just, it leaves me so speechless that all I can do is laugh. All I can do is laugh on how crazy this is. And it's just gone so far. It's gone so far to just self-harming themselves. I mean, you have even people now, there's now a calling of liberal women to discard people from sex. They're doing the 4B movement right now, which is no sex, no marriage, no dating, no having kids, no procreation. They're restricting themselves from these opportunities, and they think that's going to punish men or going to punish people that voted for Trump. But in the end result, it's actually more harmful again to themselves. Because while men are probably going to go out and look for conservative women, or maybe they're going to look out and find people that they can relate to in the Trump camp and procreate with them, which is going to diminish people like you. Because you're restricting yourself from procreating. You're restricting yourself from having families, from bringing the next generation of liberals or lefties or whatever you call this. And there's just going to be more of them. So, congratulations. Congratulations, people. You have really, really done this to yourselves. And this is why I have stated post-election, this is why the purpose of this channel, the reason why I bring people together on a platform like this is that we need to come together. We need to investigate, find the real truth, find information that brings us together so we can unite together and come to common causes. That instead of epitomizing, instead of getting diluted into the brainwashing, pointing the fingers and saying, you're at fault for this, you're a disgusting person, you need to be mass punished. You need to be collectively punished. Because the guy I personally have a vendetta against won, and I made this personal trauma of myself that now I have to take it and unleash it on you. had to unleash it on other members of society, which is damaging. It is damaging to communities. It is damaging. And this is how the establishment wants you to behave. This is how the establishment builds up this movement. The establishment wants us to be in a civil war engagement. They want us to be angry. They want us to be yelling at each other because the establishment feeds off of chaos. They feed off of this derangement. They feed off knowing that there's going to be people out there that want to deport Latinos because they voted for Trump instead of actually engaging with Latinos and say, hey, why'd you vote for Trump? Curious. Maybe get to know them. Maybe get to engage with them. Maybe understand where they're coming from. Maybe have some common understanding of one another, because if you have common understanding of one another, you might see there's actually similarities. Like this woman, apparently pro-gun. Not in a good way, but let's start with that. Start with that. And come to terms with that. Instead of going this mental psychotic episode that I'm worried you're gonna need like 4 straitjackets and sent to the sponge room at the loony bin, whatever you call it. I know it's not, there's a certain term for the sponge room. I just call it that, but you get the picture.